Hey everyone, and welcome back to Asterisk Unique Coins Value, the channel where we dig into the stories in your pocket change. Today, we're tackling a coin that every single one of you has probably held in your hand at some point. The 1981 Jefferson nickel. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, 1981? That's not old. That's modern. And you'd be right. But that's exactly what makes this coin so fascinating. It's a piece of recent history, a workhorse of American commerce, and for many of you, it might be the very first coin you ever saved. So, the big question we're answering today is, what is the circulated value of a 1981 Jefferson nickel, and is it worth more than 5 cents? Stick around, because the answer might surprise you, and we're going to dive deep into the mintages, the varieties, and how to grade your own coins. First, let's set the stage. The year is 1981. Ronald Reagan is president, MTV launches on television, and the first IBM personal computer is released. In the world of coins, the U.S. Mint was churning out millions upon millions of nickels to meet public demand. The Jefferson nickel design, created by Felix Schlag way back in 1938, was still going strong. The obverse features the iconic left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, with the word Liberty along the right edge and the motto, In God We Trust, along the left. The date, of course, is 1981. The reverse shows Jefferson's magnificent home, Monticello, with the name arched above it and the Latin motto, E pluribus unum. Below Monticello, you'll find 5 cents. This design is a classic, but it's also incredibly common for this era. And that's our first clue to its value. For modern coins, especially those from the 1960s onward, rarity is almost never about age. It's almost always about mintage, how many were made, and survival rate, how many are still in great condition. So, let's look at the numbers for 1981.1981p, Philadelphia ** 657 504 000 1981 d, Denver ** 364,801,843 1981 s, San Francisco proof ** 4,063,089. Let's just absorb those numbers for a second. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 657 million nickels in 1981. The Denver Mint added another 364 million. That's over $1 billion nickels from these two mints alone. The S mint mark coins were only sold in proof sets to collectors. They have a mirror-like finish and were never intended for circulation. We'll talk about those a little later. Because so many were made, and because we're only 40 years removed from 1981, there are still mountains of these coins out there. They are sitting in rolls in bank vaults, filling up jars in people's closets, and yes, still circulating in your change. For a coin that has been worn down, spent, jingled in pockets, and scraped across counters, what we call circulated, the value is. I know. It's not the exciting, get-rich-quick answer some people hope for. But it's the honest truth. Because there are so many of them, a worn 1981 nickel is still just worth its face value as legal tender. It's a common, everyday coin. If you have one, spend it or save it for the novelty, but don't expect a pawn shop or coin dealer to pay you a premium for it. But wait. Don't click away yet. Because like almost everything in numismatics, there are always exceptions. The value is in the condition and the variety. Let's talk grades. A coin that was pulled from circulation and has no wear, what we call uncirculated or mint state, can have a small premium. An uncirculated 1981 D or 1981 P nickel might be worth between 10 and 25 cents to a collector who needs a nice example to fill an album. That's not a fortune, but it's 2x to 5x its face value. The value comes from the fact that it still has its original luster, with no scratches or wear on Jefferson's cheek or the steps of Monticello. Now, let's talk about the proofs. Remember those S mint mark coins? Those were made with polished dies and frosted designs on specially prepared planchets. They are gorgeous. A proof coin in perfect condition, what we call PR70 Deep Cameo, could be worth $5 to $8. But a typical proof coin that a collector might have taken out of its cellophane holder, which we call impaired, might only be worth 50 cents to $1. The real home run with any modern coin is finding a rare error. The 1981 nickel does have a few famous ones that are worth looking for. The most famous is the 1981 P double die obverse. On this variety, the date, the motto In God We Trust, and the word Liberty all show clear doubling. It's not wear or machine damage, it's a mistake in the die-making process. A circulated example of this double die could still be worth $20 to $50, and an uncirculated one can fetch $100 or more. It's rare, but they are out there. Another thing to check for is the full steps designation on the reverse. This refers to the steps of Monticello. On a perfectly struck coin, you should be able to see 5, 6, or even all 7 steps clearly defined. Most circulation strike coins have flat, mushy steps. A coin with full steps, FS, commands a significant premium, so, to recap, your average, worn, circulated 1981 Jefferson nickel is worth 5 cents. But a brilliant uncirculated one has a small premium, a proof coin has more, and if you're incredibly lucky enough to find a double die error, you've got a real winner on your hands. The real value of this coin, like so many others, isn't just in its monetary worth. It's a tiny metallic time capsule from 1981. It's a piece of history you can hold. So, I encourage you to check your change, look through those old jars, and see what you can find. The hunt is half the fun. Well, today we're putting one specific coin under the microscope, the 1987 Jefferson nickel. It's a coin that literally millions of us have handled. It's not old, it's not gold, but could it be hiding a secret fortune? Could a regular, circulated 1987 nickel be worth more than 5 cents? The answer is a shocking yes, but only if you find the right one. Stick around, because we're going to break down exactly what to look for, its true circulated value, and the one incredibly rare error that could make this the most valuable nickel in your pocket. First, a little history. The Jefferson nickel was first minted in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The design by Felix Schlag features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, and his iconic Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. This design ran, largely unchanged, for decades. But by the 1980s, the mint was a well-oiled machine. 1987 was not a rare year for nickels. In fact, the mints in Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark, produced over 1.3 billion nickels combined. That's a massive number. Because of this, the vast majority of 1987 nickels are just worth their face value of 5 cents. If you have one in your pocket right now, it's almost certainly a common coin. But almost certainly isn't definitely. And that's where the fun begins. Oh, let's talk about the circulated value of your average, everyday 1987 nickel. We need to separate the two standard mint marks. This is a 1987p, struck at the Philadelphia Mint. You identify it by the lack of a mint mark. With over 371 million made, this is a super common coin. In circulated condition, meaning it's been in pockets and vending machines, it has scratches, wear, and its details are softened. This coin is worth 5 cents. This is a 1987D from the Denver Mint. With a staggering 946 million struck, it's even more common than the Philly coin. In circulated condition, it is also firmly worth 5 cents. But wait, I hear you say, I saw one online for $50. And you might have. The value jumps significantly when we talk about condition. A 1987 nickel that was never circulated, that is in pristine, brilliant uncirculated, BU, condition, with full details and original mint luster, can be worth 50 cents to $1, sometimes a little more, to a collector who needs it for a perfect set. But that's for uncirculated coins, which is a topic for another day. Today, we're talking about the coins you find in change. Okay, here's what you've been waiting for. The reason you need to check every single 1987 nickel. While the regular issues are common, the U.S. Mint is run by humans, and humans make mistakes. And those mistakes are what collectors will pay huge premiums for. The first and most valuable option is a 1987 proof nickel. Proof coins are special strikes made for collectors, with mirrored backgrounds and frosted designs. They are sold in sets and are not meant for circulation. They were only made at the San Francisco Mint, and they bear an S mint mark. If you ever find a 1987 nickel with a tiny S mint mark in your change, you have hit the jackpot. Someone broke it out of its original protective case. In perfect proof condition, they are worth about $2 to $3. But even lightly circulated, a 1987 S-proof nickel is a rare find and could be worth $5 to $10 to a collector, simply because it's so unusual to find one in pocket change. But the big-ticket item, the superstar of the 1987 nickel world, is a specific and famous error known as the no P mint mark nickel from 1979 to 1981, and again in 1997, a small number of nickels were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, but somehow their P mint mark was omitted. These are incredibly rare. But in 1987, there is a different, more controversial error. Look closely here. On some 1987 P nickels, the P mint mark is so weakly struck, or filled with grease from the press, that it is completely invisible to the naked eye. It looks like a 1987 nickel with no mint mark at all. But under high magnification, you might see a trace of it. Now, a genuine fully missing P mint mark error from 1987 would be a monumental find, potentially worth thousands of dollars. However, true examples are almost unheard of for this year. Most that you see are either grease-filled ***, the mark is there, just clogged. ***, worn down ***, circulated so heavily the mark is gone. ***, intentionally removed ***, a fake, where someone has scraped the off. If you think you have one, you must get it certified by a company like PCGS or NGC. ***, a real one could be worth $1,000 to $3,000 plus. But be very, very skeptical. So, your action plan is simple: grab your 1987 nickels. Look at the reverse on the right side of Monticello. ***, is there a D? It's common. No mint mark. It's a Philly coin, also common. Is there a tiniest? ***, congratulations. You have a rare find worth a few bucks. Does it have no mint mark but look unusually sharp and brilliant? ***, get a magnifying glass. If you truly cannot see any trace of a P, not even a shadow, you might have something incredible. But remember, likely not. So, the circulated value of a 1987 nickel is almost always 5 cents. But the thrill of the hunt is knowing that there's always a chance, however small, that a masterpiece error is hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. It's the 1989 Jefferson nickel. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, 1989? That's modern junk. It's just a nickel. But hold on. Is it really just a nickel? Could there be a hidden error, a rare variety, or something that makes this seemingly ordinary coin worth more than its 5-cent face value? Stick with me, because in this video, we're going to explore everything about the 1989 nickel. Its history, its design, its mintages, and most importantly, its true circulated value. Let's get into it. To understand the 1989 nickel, we gotta take a quick trip back in time. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced way back in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. The design, by artist Felix Schlag, was iconic, a proud left-facing profile of our third president, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse. And on the reverse, a beautiful rendering of Jefferson's plantation home, Monticello. The motto "In God We Trust" moved to the reverse in 1938, and E Pluribus Unum has been on the obverse since the 1960s. Now, here's why 1989 is interesting. This coin is a relic of a specific era. It was struck for 51 years with almost no major design changes. But change was coming. The Westward Journey nickel series was still over a decade away. That wouldn't start until 2004, so the 1989 nickel is what we call a late series classic design. It's one of the last years of the original Schlag design before the various commemorative reverses took over. It's a piece of late 20th century Americana, minted in the final years of the Cold War. Alright, let's talk numbers. Because mintage is the first clue to a coin's potential value. In 1989, nickels were produced at 3 different U.S. mints: Philadelphia Mint ***, no mint mark. This is the most common one. They struck a whopping 1.3 billion of these. Yeah, with AB. That's 1,300,000,000 coins. So, if you have a 1989 with no mint mark, you've got the most common version. Denver Mint ***, D mint mark. Also incredibly common. The Denver Mint produced even more than Philly, a staggering 1.7 billion coins. So between these two mints, they produced over 3 billion nickels. That's a lot of 5-cent pieces. San Francisco Mint ***, mint mark. Now, this is where things get a little more interesting. The San Francisco Mint in 1989 did not produce nickels for general circulation. They only made proof coins for collectors. These were struck on specially polished planchets with mirrored fields and frosted devices. We'll come back to these proof coins, because they're a different beast entirely. Oh, for circulated coins, you're almost certainly dealing with a Philadelphia or Denver Mint coin. I know. It's not the answer you were hoping for. But let me explain why. With over 3 billion coins made, the supply is absolutely massive. These coins are still everywhere. You can go to the bank right now and get a roll of nickels, and you'll probably find a few from the late 80s and early 90s. Because of this enormous supply, there is simply no numismatic premium for a regular, circulated 1989 nickel in average condition. If it's worn, has scratches, toning, or just looks like it's been through a lot, it's worth face value. Its value is in its metallic content. Since it's 75% copper and 25% nickel, there is some intrinsic metal value, but it's still less than a cent. So yes, as a collectible, in circulated condition, it's just 5 cents. But wait. Don't click away. This is where it gets fun. Because while most are worth 5 cents, there are always exceptions. Treasure isn't found in the common, it's found in the unusual. So, let's look at what makes a 1989 nickel valuable. Circulated coin is worn. But what if your 1989 nickel is uncirculated? What if it's been sitting in a mint set or a bankroll since the day it was made? An uncirculated 1989 P or D nickel might fetch a small premium. We're talking 25 to 50 cents for a nice example in a mint state, MS, grade like MS 63 or MS 65. If by some miracle it's a perfect MS 67, you might be looking at $10 to $15. But these are coins that have never been touched, with original luster and absolutely zero wear. They are not found in circulation. Remember that S mint mark? The San Francisco proof coins are beautiful and were made for collectors. A proof 1989 S nickel in perfect PR, 69 DCAM, deep cameo condition, meaning black background and frosty white devices, can be worth $5 to $8. But again, this is a proof coin. It came in a plastic case as part of a set. You will not find this in your pocket change. If you did, someone spent it by mistake, and it would be very worn, killing its value. This is it. This is how a common coin becomes a superstar. You need to look for errors. For 1989, the most famous and valuable error is the double die obverse. Look closely at the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." If the letters appear doubled, blurred, or shadowed, you might have a double die error. These are extremely rare and were caught very quickly by the mint. A genuine 1989 double die obverse nickel in uncirculated condition can be worth hundreds of dollars. We're talking $500 or more for a high-grade example. Also, look for off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or repunched mint marks. Any significant error on a common date coin can instantly make it worth $20, $50, or much, much more. So, your homework tonight is to grab that coin jar and start looking. Use a magnifying glass or a loupe. Check every single 1989 nickel for those doubling signs. Look for the S mint mark, though if you find one in circulation, it will likely be damaged. But manage your expectations. The odds of finding a massive error are like winning a tiny lottery. It's possible, but rare. The 1989 Jefferson nickel is a workhorse of American currency. It's not rare. It's not inherently valuable. But it's a piece of history. It's a snapshot of 1989, and I still think that's pretty cool. For every 10,000 common nickels, there might be one that's special. And the thrill is in the hunt. Oh, what do you think? Do you have a 1989 nickel? Have you ever found a valuable error coin? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading your stories. It's the humble, the often overlooked, the 2002 Jefferson nickel. Now, I know what you're thinking. Alex, it's just a nickel. I get a handful of these every time I buy a coffee. And you're absolutely right. But what if I told you that within this single year, there's a story of a major minting shift, a subtle design change most people miss, and a couple of varieties that could make this common coin worth a little more than 5 cents? Stick around, because we're about to give this pocket change the spotlight it deserves. First, let's set the stage. To understand the 2002 nickel, we have to rewind a bit. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, featuring a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. This design, by Felix Schlag, was the standard for decades. But in 2004, the Westward Journey nickel series began, with all new reverse designs to commemorate the Lewis and Clark expedition. That makes the 2002 nickel part of the last group of the classic, traditional Jefferson nickel design. It's the end of an era, and that alone makes it historically interesting. Now, let's get our magnifying glasses out and look at the 2002 nickel itself. On the obverse, we have the left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson. To the left, you see the word Liberty and the mint year, 2002. To the right, the motto, In God We Trust. And along the rim, you'll see the phrase, E pluribus unum. Now, here's a fun fact for you. The image of Jefferson we see on the nickel since 1971 isn't actually Felix Schlag's original full-haired design. It's a modified version by mint engraver Frank Gasparo, who gave Jefferson a more streamlined, poofy hairstyle. This is the portrait we see on our 2002 coin. Flip it over, and we have the beautiful rendering of Monticello. You can make out the details of the columns, the balcony, the dome. It's a miniature architectural marvel. Below it, the word Monticello. Above it, 5 cents. And arching over the top, the words United States of America. Along the bottom rim, you'll find the mint mark, if it's present. The mint mark. This is where things get crucial for value. In 2002, nickels were minted at 3 different facilities. The Philadelphia Mint. These coins have no mint mark. They produced the vast majority of nickels that year. The Denver Mint. These have a small D mint mark to the right of Monticello. The San Francisco Mint. These have a small S mint mark. But wait. The S mint mark means something very different here. This is the most important point about the 2002 nickel. The San Francisco Mint did not produce these for general circulation. Instead, they struck 2 special types proof coins ***. These are specially made for collectors, struck with polished dies on polished planchets. They have a magnificent mirror-like finish. You'll only find these in proof sets. Silver proof coins ***. As part of the annual proof sets, the San Francisco Mint also struck nickels on planchets made of a copper-nickel alloy. Wait, no. Not in 2002. This is a common misconception. The silver-proof nickels did not begin until the Westward Journey series in 2004. So, all 2002's nickels are the standard copper-nickel composition, but with that stunning proof finish. So, let's get to the million-dollar question. Or, well, the 5-cent question. What is it worth? For the vast majority of 2002 nickels, the answer is 5 cents. If you have a heavily circulated worn coin from Philadelphia, no mint mark, or Denver, D mint mark, its value is purely face value. These were minted in the hundreds of millions. They are common pocket change. But condition and variety are everything in numismatics. Let's break it down. 2002 P. Philadelphia, nickel, circulated *** worn from use. It's worth 5 cents. 2002 D. Denver, nickel, circulated ***, same story. 5 cents. Now, if you find one in absolutely pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning it was never used, it has its original luster, no bag marks, no scratches, you might be looking at a coin worth 50 cents to $1. Maybe $2 for a truly perfect specimen in a mint set. Not a fortune, but a 10x to 20x return on your 5-cent investment. The real value, as always, comes from the proofs. 2002's proof nickel in its original government packaging, the proof set, might be worth $3 to $5 on its own, and the entire proof set can be purchased for around $10 to $15. Remember, there is no 2002 silver proof nickel. So don't be fooled by anyone trying to sell one as such. Now, are there any errors? Any dramatic varieties that could be worth hundreds? For the 2002 nickel, the pickings are very slim. It's not a year known for dramatic double dies or major off-center strikes. However, collectors are always on the lookout for cracks or raised blobs of metal called cuds, caused by broken dies. Off-center strikes, though these are exceptionally rare for this year. The 2002 D. Speared Bison, nickel ***. Wait. No, that's a different coin. See, your mind plays tricks on you. There is no major recognized error variety for the 2002 nickel that commands a huge premium. If you find a weird one, it's cool, but it likely won't pay for a new CAR. So, the final verdict? The 2002 Jefferson nickel is a fantastic, common piece of modern American coinage. It represents the closing chapter of a 66-year classic design. While it won't fund your retirement, it's a perfect coin for a young collector to start with. It's accessible, it has a great history, and finding a beautiful uncirculated example or a proof is still a thrilling little hunt. T reminds us that history is literally in our hands every day. We just have to stop and look. Oh, next time you get change, take a quick glance. Check for that S mint mark. Appreciate the last of the classic Jeffersons. And who knows, maybe you'll find something extraordinary. Did you find a 2002 nickel in your change? Let me know in the comments below if you found a D or a S. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into everyday treasure, do us a huge favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to Coin Canvas for more numismatic adventures, and ring that bell so you don't miss our next video. We explore everything from ancient Roman coins to modern-era pennies. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep hunting.